If you aren't stimulated, you aren't motivated. That is the phrase that I want you to remember very precisely right here and now. For Mars and Gemini going on from June 28th through August 12th. And right now, real and raw, I'm going to look at my ephemeris and see when Mars is going to leave Gemini. And that is going to be, it's going to be August 12th. Yes, so August 12th is when it leaves Gemini and enters Cancer. Yes. So, so then June, so it is from between, I'm going to list the dates out for you. Mars, is in, Gemini. Where's Gemini? From the 29th of June, the 28th of June, from the 29th of June through August 12th. August 12th. Yes, okay, so from June 29th to August 12th. Okay, so now that I listed the dates for you, let us delve into what it means when Mars, the planet of action and drive and ambition, what you're truly motivated towards, enters the sign of Gemini, the sign of the twins, the sign of what's dual, the sign of what is very, different. Gemini wants things that are different. Gemini wants things that have variety, that have spice to them, and that have a lot of stimulation in them, because, as I said at the beginning of this video, so I'm going to discuss Mars and what it means later on in this video. But anyway, before I do, I'm going to talk about some qualities with this transit. And then tomorrow will be the 12th sign forecast for Mars, the sign of Gemini. Before I even get, into it, I want to thank you for all your comments that you've sent me, all your likes and all your shares, and those who have subscribed. I really, really appreciate any little nudge, any little acknowledgement of my videos of this community that can come out to me. Keep the comments coming, keep the encouragement coming. Whoever you are, I appreciate you listening and viewing and spending your time and energy watching me, listening to me, and I am very, very thankful for that. And I would encourage you to share this video with more people, that way, more people can see and hear what I have to give. So, Mars in Gemini is really, really smart. There's something very, very intelligent about Mars in Gemini. There's something very, very wise and, up there about Mars in Gemini. And so there's a smart quality, there's a clever quality to Mars in Gemini. There's this quality of I know everything, and I know so much, and I'm very, very aware of everything that I know. I'm just so aware of it, and I'm just so cognizant of it, and I'm just so well versed in it. So The quality being really, really clever, because Gemini is a very, very intelligent sign. It knows what it's doing, knows its qualities, knows what it knows and holds on to what it knows. Mars in Gemini is the expert that really, really digs right down into it and says, I know what I know, and I'm going to be very, very studying in what I know. So, this is this is one of the qualities here. And then, the other thing is that, Mars in Gemini is really, 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 really agile, really, really sharp, very, very high up in the mind, knows a lot of things, has a great, very, very intelligent mind, very, very up their mind, really, willing mind to learn. There's a willingness with Gemini to learn and take in new information and do all of that. Because Gemini is the sign of learning and the sign of new information, sign of the twins. So Gemini is a really, really dynamic air sign in that way. Gemini has a quick wit also. During this time, it's a good time to find people to talk to discuss things with, to share ideas with, to learn these things, to learn new things with others. Between this period, from the end of June to the middle of August, you want to consider, and actually Mars leaves Gemini on the day of, I believe it is a solar eclipse in Leo, which I'll be talking about when we get to around August 12th. So, what we need to consider is, who do we want to learn with? Who do we want to engage with the world in that kind of way? Who do we want to learn and study with? That's really the question worth considering. And who do we want to engage intellectually with? That's also a thing. It's also a theme. Because, Gemini is about connecting. Gemini is a sign that takes in all the information like ... disperses it and shares the information all around. That's what it, that is what it does. And so, this is time to learn and share. And so everyone during this time is willing to exchange. Gemini is about the exchange of information, ideas, thoughts, and ideals and visions that you have for your life, which are in the mind and in the intellectual. Like this is about using our minds. During this time, it's a good, very, very mental time to use our minds. And we're meant to use our minds and our intuition together. We're meant to integrate both and, not either or. I'll talk about that later on in this video. So, this is really about the exchange of, could be goods, it could be all those kind of things, but being willing to adapt is part of the Mars and Gemini energy. Are you willing to change? Are you flexible? Are you willing to just go along with the circumstances and make the most and find a creative avenue to give your attention in those spaces? Like, how are you going to use your attention? How are you going to spend your attention and energy in whatever spaces that you're getting yourself into? How are you going to use that mental time and energy? And about sharing the information. So Gemini is a very, very adaptable, a very, very flexible sign. In this way, it can really, really make good ground. Now, the downside to this is that you may get deceived by others. That may be a huge part of this, where other people may deceive you and may just trick you into saying things, and you may not necessarily know what their real motives are, what their real feelings are, about what is going on. There may be deception, maybe in politics, maybe in other arenas of life. But But behind the scenes, a lot of people during this time could be speaking more negatively about such things and about such issues. There could be this talking to you right in front and having all the positive things like put in your face. And then the downside of this is the negative. The negative, like, oh, I didn't know what they were really saying. They were actually being very, very mean, and they were actually being very, very condescending and unkind. Like there may be the two streets going on in one road kind of thing. May be difficult to know others' true opinions and beliefs at this time, because they may have it under a filter. That may be in a filtered way. That may be a case, or it may be another case entirely, but there could be a lack of clarity with what you truly believe and what you truly feel and what your real thoughts are about certain issues. Thoughts about paint drawing, thoughts about the cost of painting, thoughts about a job or relationship or whatever arena of your life that may go on with you, whatever area of your life Mars falls in your chart that may or may not relate to you. I don't want to assume that on tomorrow's reading or give you the 12 signs. I'm not going to tell you which house Mars in Gemini falls is based on your sun and rising sign, because that is making assumptions about you that may not be true. So I'm not going to do that. My readings are not predictions, and they're not meant to be set in stone and totally accurate in Bible. They're meant to be things to think about and ideas that may or may not resonate with you. And a lot of times they may not resonate, and that's okay. They don't have to. So, it may be difficult to know these kind of things at this time. And so it's very, very important, and I think that this is a good shot in the face to me, about not having too much time in front of your computer or your phone or wherever to balance this out. I'm not saying just avoid your phone and computer entirely, but be mindful of like, okay, when you feel like, okay, I've had my fill of it, and I feel like this is a waste of my time, and I'm getting addicted to it, but there's an inside part of me going, I want to use my energy for better purposes. I want to use my energy for better purposes and better motivations and, better uses of my time. Then take time off of the social media. Don't scroll. Don't spend time in front of a screen. Talk to people. Get outside in nature. Read something. Do all those kind of things like that. Go to your local town and community. Maybe talking with people is maybe something more old-fashioned, but there's a hands-on approach to it. So, it may be this kind of thing where instead of just spending time, with a screen and all the time, you're engaging with the real world, where you're doing things in the real world. You're reading, you're engaging with life. You're reading, you're engaging your mind, you're spending the mind, learning all these different things and, uncovering all these different sort of facets of, ideas and subject matters and this and that. So be very, very mindful of, during this time with Mars and Gemini, to not spend all this time in front of a screen. Notice when you feel tired of doing it. Notice when you're like, I've had my fill of this, I'm done. Notice when you want to take a break. Allow yourself to take a break when it feels right to you. And I'm not telling, never, ever, ever in any of my videos am I advising you to not do what is right for you. You don't have to do any of this information if you don't want to, but I do ask you to be open and consider what I have to say. And, that's, really all I ask in these videos. I'm not advocating for you to do anything that is not true for you, and I never will in any of the content that I put out, astrology or spiritual or whatever. So, okay. So, the last time that Mars was in Gemini, and I wish that I had a podcast at the time, and I wish I was on my other channel at the time, but things happen in life to put the gozo on the JoJo. So, it happened between July 20th through September 4th of 2024. So you want to go back in your life and see if there was a recurring theme to see what transpired in your life at that time when it comes to what went on there. So, this is about discernment. Really being discerning about what you're taking in, what you're engaging with, what your mental time and energy is engaging with, and determining if it's true or if it is not true. That's really the key here, is determining if the information is really, honest and transparent and true, and not if the information is not true. Determining, what information, is, determining, the information, really being discerning about the information that you're taking in, determining if it's true or if it's not true. Really having an eagle's perch and very wise perspective of that, to really have that in your mind, in your out frame, with really evaluating, like, what is true, in my life, what information holds true for me in my life, what information, really, is and isn't. So be discerning about the information you're taking in. Don't ingest just, misinformation, with all that's going on in you. Okay. So, there may be, some things going on here with this energy. And what may happen is, collectively, there could be some heating up in politics. As I was reading, the word conspiracy theories came up. The word disinformation came up. So what I would say to you is to not get swept along by the algorithms of life. To not get swept along by life's algorithms, that tell you what to think, what to believe, what to understand, what to consider, because life's algorithms can really lead you off course from your center, from your truth, from your autonomy to make your own decisions and to do things your own way. Like when it comes, oh my goodness, like I'm thinking of TikTok right now. Like when I go on TikTok, this video, I'm a messenger, don't shoot me, do this to get more views, do this to get more views, constant, continual information. So I'm not gonna, listen to the For You page that comes up on TikTok, and I don't care what the video is that can tell me how to get more views. I will literally go on Google and find out how to get more views on TikTok, not being swept along by this video that pops up, and that video pops up, and all the things, and all the chatter, and all the this and that. Like, that is not what I'm gonna get myself caught up into, because I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I don't want to be susceptible to all of that noise that goes on with that, and I don't want to engage with that, so I'm not going to do it. And I would encourage you to not get swept along by algorithms online or in life, like, news, having to keep up with the news, like those highly sensitive people that it may be best for them not to keep up with all the tragedy in the world, because their systems, it's very difficult for their systems to be able to handle that, those negative experiences, those negative events, all those kind of things that happen, in your life. And so don't let the algorithms of life tell you what to do, what to believe. So, It may be good to network. Also, networking. And networking with others, networking with people in your life, and interacting with real people in the real world. That can be a thing also, with not just the online and digital space, but also engaging with the people in your real life, to add in addition to that. So the other thing is making meaningful connections. Gemini is about meaningful intellectual connections. So what kind of meaningful connections where you're exchanging ideas, where you're getting together with people who see you authentically, who value authenticity in connections, authenticity in relationships, where you're speaking about things and you're being openly sharing what your heart says, openly sharing what your mind says, what your mind has, about things. And that's what it can also be, is where you're sharing meaningful connections, meaningful tie-ins and synonyms and all those kind of things like that with what you are really sharing. So and then adding variety to your life also. Gemini is a sign of variety. It wants change. It wants, a lot of, different options. It wants its options. It wants to have these choices. It wants to have those choices. It wants to have all the choices of the rainbow. It wants to have all those choices. It doesn't want to be limited and boxed into just a few choices. It wants so many different kind of choices. So can you add variety? If the choices and options in your life are very, very limiting and few, can you add variety to make more options in your life that we can have a more fulfilling and spiced up life? Now at this time, your attention span may be shorter. That may be a quality going on here. With the with your attention span really being very like you're less able, it's less likely that you can spend a long period of time at listening to something, watching something. You're kind of, our attention span these days, oh my goodness, to watch a 37 or 50-minute video, or to watch this video. Like, if you're watching this video, then thank goodness you're watching this video, because this is probably going to be a long video. So thank you for watching this video and having the attention span to really hear every little bit of the substance that I have to give in these videos. Like, these videos have substance in them. And there's videos on YouTube that barely have any substance, and they're short videos, and they get all these views. Like, what is that about? What is that about? So it's like we should really care about how much substance videos have, as opposed to how long they are. So, maybe we should flip the script, and a lot of videos with that are longer should get more views. Who knows? But our attention spans are just so short. We're very, very distracted. We're not patient to really sit through and hear, a full-length video. Like, can we stretch our attention spans at this time? Can we not use the Gemini energy of the flaky, adaptable, changing energy of like, oh, I'm interested in this thing, oh, I'm interested in that thing, oh, I'm interested in that thing, like constantly moving back and forth between your different tabs on your computer, constantly moving back and forth between one thing and another, and not committing to one thing or another. Not committing to something. Not focusing your energy. Not putting your focus and attention on one given thing. So that's where we can really struggle at this time, is the lack of focus and the lack of commitment. So can we be willing to be transparent at this time? Can we be forthcoming and share we are afraid to share. And I think that the word transparent is important to discuss here. It means being honest. Transparency is honesty. Being open and very, very direct, very, very straightforward, without hiding any of your authenticity. Like being transparent can be being authentic. You are authentically sharing what is true for you and what you want to get off your chest. So, honesty is the best policy. And so, can we be honest? Can we be kind? Can we be all these things? Now that we have to suppress, if you're given the choice between being right and being kind, what would you choose? Both. Both. It's like being right is kind of being kind if you're coming from your soul and not your ego. That's where we have to look at, because if you're planning to take somebody down and hurt somebody with your honesty in an ego way and just come off like that, then that's not very, very good. We need to steer away from that. But if you are coming from an authentic, soul-centered place where you're just being honest and being open about it, there's nothing wrong with that. And what other people think of us is really none of our business. We cannot overthink and just filter out how we come across to others, like overthink, like, oh, how am I coming across to others this way? Oh, am I coming across to others this way? And just getting up in the mind and really being overthinking how others are going to see us, and then just holding back what we want to say because we're so afraid of others are not going to like it. It's just, we need to be transparent in this society and in this life. It is so important, and I cannot emphasize that enough. So, it builds trust. Transparency builds trust, where others can understand what you're thinking. All those kind of things like that. So, being transparent and talking about the issues going on in relationships, talking about what needs to be talked about, talk about, what's going on. In this way, you are showing respect by showing honesty. Okay, now showing respect and showing honesty doesn't mean just being totally, using your words as weapons and not saying it from a loving place, not saying the honest, raw truth from a loving place, the honest truth from a loving place, because that's also something that we need to keep in mind with, because during Mars and Gemini, we can really use our words as weapons. We can say something just to prove how intelligent and smart we are that hurts others, and so we need to not be on our high horse with using our words to hurt others. We need to really, really, speak with love and kindness, but we also need to be honest and be open about what we really feel and what's really, really going on, and not be hiding what we authentically want to say. Now, somebody's authentic response might not be what the other person needs. That's still true, but can we be willing to, be open about that stuff? Be open about what needs to come out. Okay. So, really just living in a soul-centered way, living in a higher level way. My world is a world of honesty and kindness and love, not lying, not hiding your authenticity because you're so afraid it's going to hurt others, and speaking the truth is going to, hurt others. Oh my goodness. No. Can we not suck it in, to use somebody's words that I was talking to on the phone recently, and, because that's inauthentic, that's a very, very sad and outdated way to live, I do have to say. The new way of living is to not think that the life is just ego, 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 ego. That authenticity and truth is ego, because it's not ego. It's spiritual. It's intuitive. It's coming from your true sense of self. That's what we have to remember. So can we speak from a true sense of self? Can we speak in a way of truth and calm and kindness and passion and all these kind of things like that? So we are showing respect by building trust, by being honest. Like you cannot have relationships without being honest. You cannot just hold in what needs to be talked about in order to quote unquote keep the peace. That is not healthy relating. If you want peace and harmony, you have to talk about what is going on. You have to go there. You have to have these conversations. So I strongly, strongly believe in that respect and trust is honesty. That to have healthy relationships, honesty needs to be present. Not lying, not holding things in, not keeping secrets from the other, it's like, we need to be honest and be open. And we need to live in a world where we're not afraid to share what has been going on, what we really want to share, what we really feel is right, and what's going on inside of us with our authenticity. We need live in a world where it's okay to speak the truth. We're just being conditioned to just follow a certain system. Get out of the old way of living. Get out of the dark ages. Move into 2026. That's what I'm going to say. So, can we be open about what we feel towards others? Can we be open about this? Can we be very, very open, in our communication of what we feel towards others? Can we tell others what we truly feel about them and our relationships without being afraid of them not liking us, not rejecting us because, God forbid, we spoke the truth. God forbid we were honest. God forbid we were transparent. God forbid. I mean, seriously. We're going to live in a world where we have to hide things just to be kind, just to put on this nicey, superficial, artificial, persona and environment. Like, that is not spiritual. Spiritual is being authentic and honest. That spirituality and authenticity go hand in hand. So, being honest about all those kind of things. So, the other thing is Mars gets things off the ground. Mars energy starts things. It's the fuel in our engine. It initiates things, has the drive to go after all these things, very, very energetic. So Gemini communicates these things. Gemini is very, very communicative, speaks about these things. However, it can be really, really knowledgeable about a whole lot of things, but not be very expert in one or two of those things, or any of those things, really, because it just disperses energy. It wants to dabble in this, dabble in that, try this, try that, and it doesn't focus on one thing and really, really get good at it. Can we commit? Can we use our energy to focus in and commit to what we want to get good at? Can we commit to what we want to learn and become very, very good at? Can we do that? That's really the question here. And instead of just using the lower Gemini with just going in all directions and just going in this direction, that and not focusing on something, can we use the intellectual, curious mental energy of Gemini in a focused, contained, can we use Taurus, the sign that comes before Gemini, to commit, to focus, to walk into one thing or another and really, really focus. Focus on that thing. Really, really focus on making it the best that we can make it. We can really focus and stay the course. So, the phrase here, I want to say it again, if we aren't stimulated, we aren't motivated, and I totally resonate with this phrase because I have Mars in Gemini, so this is my Mars return. So, if you aren't stimulated to go after what you want to go after and do all this, like if you aren't stimulated with information and thought and all those kind of things like that, then then you aren't motivated. It's important to be stimulated so that you are motivated. So and be discerning about the opportunities that come to you. Because Gemini can just take advantage of, like, oh, it's this opportunity that's great. This opportunity is great. No, tune in to your intuition and ask yourself, think about and feel into, is this really right for me? Is this really true for me? Is this opportunity that I am being presented with true for me? Is this really ring true for me? Or is this opportunity going to put me in a really, really bad situation? So that's what we need to consider, is the opportunity. And is it, non-opportunity, responding to every opportunity. Now, Uranus will be in Gemini, Mars will be in Gemini. The exact conjunction will be, I believe it is the 4th of July, on July 4th. I think I'll do videos on that July 1st and 2nd, I do believe, on this podcast. So, Uranus is also in Gemini. And it will be there until 2032, 2033. So this brings about shifts and changes in technology. It's going to be all kinds of technological innovations starting Uranus and Gemini. You can't even believe it. With AI and gadgets and things like that. Communication, transportation, flying cars, driverless cars. All these kind of things like that, where you want to be alone and do what you want to do, because Uranus is sort of wants to be alone. Uranus is the maverick. It is the one that is dependent, wants to break from the crowd. It doesn't want to follow the herd. Uranus wants to do its own thing. It wants to rebel and go its own way. So people with strong Uranus energy in their charts, strong Uranus is really, really activated, and planets are, aspecting Uranus, really have this urge to just break out of certain rigid structures and break out of these limiting structures and break out of these constraints or whatever and do their own thing. So can we do our own thing? But with also collaborating with others, because Gemini wants to meet and exchange ideas. So can we, be very, very flexible and spontaneous with meeting others? Don't expect to just do everything that comes out that you want to do. Then we project every, idea that comes to you that you want to do in your life. Because you're probably not going to be able to do all of it, because nobody can do everything. Nobody on God's green earth can do everything there is to do. So we have to focus in on what we really want. On what we really want to do, on what we want to focus our energy on what we want to commit to. That's what we need to focus on and develop. So, this brings about this disruption that can come into play here. Because disruption and excitement, those are Uranus themes. We are being activated to make changes. Change things up, break out of stuck patterns, break out of stagnant patterns, do things a different way, do things a revolutionary way. Make the necessary changes that we need to make, and to not get so bogged down by the details. Gemini can get really, really bogged down in details. Gemini can be too focused on the details, on the little things that go on these little pieces and aspects of our reality, that lose sight of the bigger picture, the bigger outlook. Because so in the minutiae of everything, so it's the low road. Really consider the next opportunity, thinking it through and feeling into it before just jumping right in. Being discerning and trusting your intuition. Again, is this opportunity truly right for you? Understanding at this time that not everything that you want in life is meant for you to have. That's where surrender needs to happen. That's where you need to drop into your soul. Trust the universe. Trust the universe. Get out of the egoic need to have things the way that you want them to be, and surrender to spirit. Surrender to the divine powers that love you so very much. That you are not large and in charge. You are not large and in charge. So can you drop into surrender and let the universe take you to the right opportunity that's meant for you. The right opportunity. The right goal. The right place, the right person, all those kind of things. Like let the universe show the way for you. Show you the way, show you the direction, show you the path. And so, okay. So, yeah. So, knowing this truth, not everything in life is meant for you. Not everything in life is truly meant for you to have. A lot of things are. But if you don't have it, you were never meant to have it in the first place. It's going to lead you to feel bad. And it's going to not be right for you, not be for your highest good. So we have to trust that. So think of things with others. Also, share your ideas and thoughts so that you can grow, create and grow something bigger. Share your ideas, exchange information, form a synergy, create something that the two of you couldn't do alone. That's what it comes down to here. So, now don't get caught up in all the shiny little things, all the shiny, new, I don't know, distractions, like the nice things in the store that are so expensive that you really want to get. Well, those are just ego. Those are just food for the ego, like sweets for the ego. You cannot give in to all that. You cannot give in to the ads, into the expensive deals. Just understand and be from an ego's perch, like, okay, that is just for my ego's entertainment, and that is just to make my ego feel good. And on a soul level, I don't need all those expensive things. That I'm going to try my utmost not to, be, really, really dramatic and, slam doors and be in my ego, as much as I can be. I'm going to try to live from a place of truth and live from a soul-centered place as much as I can in my life, because that's what I believe in. Because if we're living in a soul-centered place, then we can really make for a much better world. I'm sorry if you heard that little ding. A much better world if we do that. So, yeah. So, okay. So, remind me, I have to turn off. I think I'll turn off notifications on some things. It's like I shouldn't have the notifications, but it came on, so yeah, there it is. I'm gonna have to get rid of that sometime. But so anyway, sharing your that stick with what you know is true. Again, determining what's true and what's not. Stick with what is true. What really rings true for you. Be in that sense of truth. Sense of yes. I don't need this fancy thing that costs $1,000. I can just focus on where I am right now and do what makes my soul happy. Do what makes me happy. Do what makes me feel content without needing all the bells and whistles. So, can we get things done that matter most to us? Can we accomplish things that matter the most to us and support ourselves moving forward from here? Support who we are as authentic individuals in our own life. So can we focus on what we want? I mean, what do we want to devote our life force energy into? What do we want to devote our time and energy and attention towards? Can we focus on that? Can we not get scattered in all these different directions, but can we focus on an objective and just go there? Go in that direction. Make the most of this transit in that way. So, that is Mars and Gemini for the collective. This is the collective reading for Mars and Gemini. I will be back tomorrow for Mars and Gemini through all 12 zodiac signs. Discussing what all 12 signs need to know, consider, how they can grow from this transit, giving meaningful readings to your signs. That will be for tomorrow's video, for tomorrow's episode of the Cosmic Sky Podcast. And, if this message found you at the right time, do not forget to, like this video, do all those things. You can even hype this video to increase the views. I would encourage that, because my videos don't get a whole lot of views. And I want you to become part of this community that we are building together on YouTube, that hopefully will blossom into a very, very warm and loving, soul-centered community. That's what I want to build on YouTube. So, it really, really helps. Your subscription really, really helps. It goes a long way, especially as I'm below 1,000 subscribers and I can see the number of subscribers very, very clearly. Wouldn't matter as much as if I had over 1,000 and I couldn't exactly see it. So I would encourage your subscription. I would encourage all of that. And until next time, this is Ever Courtney. Bye for now. Enjoy.